Welcome to the new video in the series in which we are making Notes app, and in this video we will write integration test for our home view model. In our app we have home feature which contains home view model. So we will write integration test to verify the all functionality of this view model. So we will go to the name of the view model and press Alt Enter in here and tap on create test. This will create the test class, and we will go with the default settings, and in unit test we will tap on this package. So press OK, and this file have been created. Now we will come back to our view model and understand what are the required things needed to create the instance of the home view model. So this take get nodes use case and listen node use case as a constructor parameter. So we will create the instance of these one. So we will create a method here named as setup view model, and in this we also create the private method here, get nodes use case and listen node use case. So private let it var get nodes use case and listen nodes use case. Okay, and now we will create the instance of this get nodes. So get nodes use case constructor, and in this we have two parameters, the repository and the IO dispatcher. So obviously we need the repository instance to get the instance of get nodes use case. So we will create another variable here, let init var repository nodes repository, and now we will create first the repository instance. So repository actually names as nodes repository implementation class, and this implementation class needs nodes DAO. So for that for writing test for this one, we want you continue with this real nodes DAO interface or nodes DAO instance. Other than that, we will already have created the test double for that named as fake nodes DAO, which will provide the same functionality which the real one is providing. So at this stage, at this point, we just understand verify the working or functionality of our view model. So we will use fake nodes DAO. So create another data member here, fake nodes DAO, and create instance of that. Fake nodes DAO, and this will take the array items array list. So we will create a variable here named as array items, and this would be array list which contains node entity, and we will pass the dummy items. Here we have dummy nodes entity class which contains different nodes. Okay, and we will pass these items here, and we got the fake nodes DAO instance. Now we will pass it in here in repository implementation. Now we go have the instance of repository. Now we will pass this repository instance to get nodes use case constructor, and is also required the IO dispatcher. So for test we will pass here unconfined test dispatcher and remove this warning from here. So okay, and yeah, that's it. To and also need the listen nodes use case instance, so we will create the listen nodes use case. It will need the repository and IO dispatcher. We will use unconfined dispatcher here. And what next? So yeah, these are the two required things. So we will create another data member here named as ViewModel and assign the instance to that. Get nodes use case and listen nodes use case. Okay, so we also annotate this method with before, so that this would be called whenever any test is running. So now here we will start writing our test case. So let's understand what we need to verify. So in this view model in init block, what we are doing is we are getting all the nodes and adding them into the nodes list, which is a mutable state list. And the second thing is we are listening different kind of events through this listener, that whenever any node is inserted, updated and deleted. So we will continue with this one to verify that are we getting the correct response from this use case. So what we will do is we will get nodes. Okay, we will create a method here. Get nodes, and in return we are expecting 3 nodes. Why we are expecting 3 nodes? Because we have only inserted these 3 nodes in our nodes, fake nodes DAO. So this will contains only 3 nodes, and when this method get nodes use case will execute and it will receive the response, then those will be those 3 nodes which we have inserted during this setup view model. So now we will use run test because we have coroutines, because this is a coroutine. Okay, and in the given part we will set up the view model which we are already doing in our setup view model, which is annotated with before. Now in the when part we will get the nodes list. So result would be view model dot, as these items have been inserted in our nodes list, so we will get this list, nodes list, and in the then part we are expecting 3 items in response. So truth dot assert result dot size should be 3. Okay, so yeah, this is it. So let's run and verify. Okay, so our this test have been failed, that we are expecting 3 items in response, but we are getting 0. And if we further see the error, invoke suspend function, actually it's pointing us to this line that we are not getting the expected result. So what could be the issue? That our flow is right when during the setup of the view model, when the constructor is called, then that init block is also called, but we are not able to get the expected result. So what could be the issue? We can understand that what is the running flow of the coroutines in the test. So what we can do is we can diagnose it by writing some logs. So let's say using println, we cannot use log.d here because we are using writing unit test without any Android system components. That's why we are using println. So tag so this is our start line and this is our end line of this block, and so we will go in here and also check this, that what is the execution flow here. So I will start with this one, this string, to better picture of that when it is called. Okay, so let's run it again and verify. Okay, and now if we see the sequence in which these have been called, that when HomeViewModel object is created, then the init block, this get nodes is start log is showing. After that we are seeing this, but we are not able to see this text in the logs. That means that our execution haven't reached it at this point, and our assertion have been occurred. So this line is executed and insertion have been occurred. That's why we are not getting the expected result in here. So what is happening is that this coroutine is launching on IO dispatcher, and when this coroutine is started, this is still in progress, but the control is move to the next lines. So we want to actually we don't want this behavior in our test case. We don't want to be asynchronous. We want to run these calls sequentially, one by one, line by line. So for that, what we can do is, as we can see here, that we are using IO dispatcher here. So we need to replace it with the unconfined test dispatcher, and the purpose of unconfined test dispatcher is that it will execute the the execution of the coroutines instantaneously or eagerly, without waiting to or without moving the controls to the next line. So for that we need to pass this dispatcher from our test. So for that, what we can do is we will pass it through the constructor parameter, coroutine dispatcher, and IO dispatcher. Okay, so one thing need to be noted here, that we are using Dagger Hilt and we are providing the instance mechanism for this one, but for this one we haven't defined any mechanism yet. So if we try to build it, then it will give us an error. So what we will do is we will also define a way to provide the IO dispatcher in our to provide these instructions to Dagger Hilt. So for that we will move to our core DI and app module, and in here we will provide the IO dispatcher. So we will create a function here provides. This IO dispatcher should be singleton because we will using it throughout our app, different places of view models. So provide IO dispatcher, coroutine dispatcher, and dispatchers.io, and in here this will be injected here. So now we will move back to our HomeViewModel test, and in here we also need to provide the dispatcher in here as well. So IO dispatcher, okay, this is it, and then the next point it would be that all of our dispatchers or all of our coroutines in the test should be run using same scheduler. You should be using one scheduler. So for that, let's say when this constructor is created, if we won't pass the scheduler to it, then it will create their own scheduler, this one his own, and this one his own scheduler, and this run test have its own scheduler if we won't provide it to. So what we will do is we will create a variable here, name it as test dispatcher, and this will be standard test dispatcher, and we will use the scheduler of this dispatcher on different places where we are passing the unconfined test dispatcher or any other coroutine we are running. So test dispatcher dot scheduler, same for this one and this one as well, and we also pass this to run test as well. Okay, so now let's run and verify the response. Okay, so again what happened is that at this point the start is we are seeing the start and the end in logs and this one as well, but still we want to move control to, let's say we want to execute this line of log when this complete coroutine have been executed. So again our coroutine has been successfully executed, but we want that this complete portion should be executed, then our control should be moved to the next line. So what we will do is we will use the method here advance until idle. So what this method will do is that whenever any coroutine is already running, this method will pause the execution at this point and wait for the other coroutines which are already running. When the execution of those coroutines will be completed, then this method will move the execution control to the next line. So now let's run and verify again. Okay, so as you can see here our tests now have been successfully passed, and now further we will do some of the modification here. Let's say this is the benefit that when you have wrote the test cases, then you can easily refactor the code and run or verify that again. So what we will do is it is better to move this part of logic into a method. So we will select this one and press Ctrl Alt and M and name it as get nodes, and obviously it would be private, and yeah, that's it. And now let's run and verify its effect again. And yeah, as you can see here, it's working perfectly. Now our next part is to test these events which we are getting from listen notes use case. The events are insert, update and delete. So the first approach, what we will do is that we will verify this insert event. And so we will come back to our view model and test class, and here write a test listen nodes, and what we need action we need to do to get this insert node. Obviously we need to insert a new node, so we will insert new node, and in return we are expecting insert event. So run test, and use test dispatcher scheduler. Actually this would be run test. Okay, now in the given part we will set up the view model, which we are already doing in our before method, actually in the setup view model method. And now we will see that whenever any insert method is we need to insert a node. Actually in the when part we will insert a new node. So new node would be dummy nodes have 5 nodes, and we will insert node 4, and in the repository we will insert that node. Actually this would be to model, because model is needed to insert for the insert method. And now we will get the result, and we will get the result that whenever any new node is added, then it will be inserted at the 0th index. So we will access it by nodes list dot first or now. So in the then part we are expecting insert event. So, actually we are expecting actually we are verifying the new added node. So in the return we are expecting new inserted node, and in here we are expecting new inserted node. So truth dot assert result, first of all it shouldn't be null. Actually it shouldn't be null, and truth dot assert that dot result should be equals to new node. But there is one thing we need to note, that in our node 4, which entity we have the ID null, but when we are getting the result from this nodes list, then this will contain new inserted node ID as well. So what we will do is we need to update this new inserted ID in our new node object as well, so it will be better to pass this assertion test. So for that we will create a variable here, not ID, and get the ID from here, and update our new node dot copy ID is equal to not ID. Actually if it's nullable, then we will provide the default value as well, which is -1, and we also need to make our this new node variable var, and yeah, now it's perfect. So we are verifying that the new inserted node at 0th index is not null, and it should be same as the new node which we have inserted. So now, yeah, that's the whole thing which we need to apply. So let's run and verify this. Okay, so as you can see here, our tests here have been successfully passed, and now next we need to verify the update event. Where is the update event? Yes, update event. So for that we will mostly the code of this test would next test will be same as this one, so we will copy this one, paste it in here, and listen nodes update first node. Actually, let's update the second node, and in return we are expecting updated node. And setup view model is done, and we will update the node 2 and make a copy of it and update the title. Node title have been updated, and we will call the update method here, and in return in list, when in HomeViewModel the update event will be received, then the item will be updated at that index with the new content. So we will find it by first or null, and id should be is equal to new node id, and yeah, that's it. And we are expecting that the result shouldn't be null, and as id is already in our updated node, let me rename it by pressing shift F6. And not null, and result should be is equal to updated node. So yeah, this is the thing that we need to verify, and now let's run and verify this. Okay, so our tests haven't been passed at this point, so let's see that expected node to be null. Okay, and we need to understand that what is the size of the list at this point. Let's run verify this, that what is the size of the list. If we see the size there, again that's the same mistake that we have seen in our first test. So what we will do is we will call the method here advance until idle. So what it will be do that it will wait the completion of this one and our other thing as well to get the expected behavior. So okay, so now let's run and verify it again. Okay, so now as you can see here, our test has been successfully passed, and now the next case that we need to verify is the delete node, that when the node is deleted, then that specific node also is removed from this nodes list. So most of the code of this next test will be same as this previous one. So we'll paste it in here, and listen node delete first node, and in return we are expecting null. So we have node1 dot id, let's say use to model dot id, and we have the node id, so we will delete that node and remove this line from here, and in return we will find as this item will be removed, which we have for which we have called this delete method of the repository. So now we will find that is that item still exists in our nodes list. So we will get this object by first or null and pass the use the node id here, and we are expecting that this should be null. If it's null, that means that our functionality is working perfectly. Okay, so as you can see here, our test has been successfully passed. So now what is the next thing that we need to verify? And this is the action method, which is a public method and which won't be doing anything itself. It's actually calling the other methods. So we will directly call these methods to verify their functionality. And so this is the add new node method, and what it will be doing is that it will navigate the user to the next screen. So we will call this method and verify that in the event flow we are getting the expected event which is transmitted from this one. Okay, so but one thing which you may have noticed that this is a private method and we cannot call it outside the scope of this class, which is a HomeViewModel. But still the purpose of the test cases would be that we would be able to test different methods individually with different possible inputs and expecting the possible response which we want from the method. So but at this point we also need to call this method here, so we will find a way out, and let's write the initial code of that we will create a method named as what is add new node method we will call, and in return we are expecting navigate next event. So run test, use the test dispatcher.scheduler, and in the given part we will set up the view model which we are already doing, and in the when part we will call add new node method, and so we will call this method as add new node method. As we can see here that it's showing us that it's a private method, but still we can call it in here with different approach, and that approach is called the Java reflection. So we can call this method in this way. So what we will do is we will copy the name of this method and create a variable named as method viewModel.java class and call this get declared method and pass the name it in here, and then we will call set the is accessible to true to make it accessible, and to call this one we will use method.invoke and pass our view model in here. So in this way this method will be called. So in this method we are providing the class that this method is the instance of is the part of this view model instance, and this will be executed. So now we will get the result, and if we see the result, and these are the mutable shared flow, and the public variant of that is event flow. So we need to collect these events. So how we can collect these events? We can, as we have already done the flow data collection or collecting events from the flow in the test case in the previous video. I will not go further deep down into that concept. If you want to know about that in detail, then you can find that video link in the description below. So in this video I just only continue with this coding stuff only. So and listen events, so we will create a variable named as events, and it will be a mutable list, and the type of events which we are expecting is HomeView. HomeView is the parent class, and here we will use background scope.launch unconfined test dispatcher and pass the same scheduler in which we are. So we will use pass test scheduler. This is the test scheduler which we are getting from the run test, and run test is getting the scheduler from this run dispatcher. So we are still in the same, all of our coroutines are still on the same scheduler. So now in here we will collect the event flow.collect and new event, and events.add new event. So when this method will be called, then the new event will be passed to will be emitted, and that we are collecting and adding into the events. So in the result we will get the last or null, because these events are adding in here. So we will get the last item of the list, last or null, and if it is not null, then we will cast it into navigate home event dot navigate next, which we are expecting. So now we will verify this result. So in the then we are expecting navigate next event. So truth dot assert result should be not null, because we are already casting it. Actually let's verify that name as well. So java class dot name of the class, and in here we will the navigate next event dot java class dot name, and then we will verify the result value of the route. So truth dot assert result dot route should be equals to this route, where it is, this route. Okay, so yeah, this is it. So now let's run and verify. Okay, so now if we see the error, what is the error here? That module with the main dispatcher had failed to initialize for test dispatcher set main and coroutine. So yeah, it's showing us the error that main dispatcher is not initializing. So the issue is that whenever any HomeViewModel instance is created, then it will have the ViewModel scope, and that ViewModel scope is run on the by default it will run on the main dispatcher. But in our test source set, when we are writing unit tests, we move into there where we are, press tab on this one, and we are in a test source set. So we cannot access main dispatcher because our test is running on our development machine only, not running on any emulator or physical device. So that's why we don't have the access of the main dispatcher on our virtual machine, actually on our development machine. So how we can replace that dispatcher, main dispatcher with our test dispatcher? For that we will need to write a rule here. Class main dispatcher role which have the private test dispatcher unconfined test dispatcher. Press Alt Enter and opt in that we are using experimental, and in here we will inherit from test watcher. And we will override by pressing Ctrl O and override this start and finish method. In the start method we will call the dispatchers.set main and pass the test dispatcher in it. And in our finish section, on finishing of any test, we will reset this dispatcher. So, and also define this role in here. Main dispatcher role, and call the main dispatcher, create the main dispatcher instance here. So now when our ViewModel instance is created, then ViewModel scope will be using test dispatcher. So okay, so now let's run and verify this test again. So we are still getting some error, so let's see what error we are having here. Expected Java class, actually it should be what is error. Let's go to it again, and we are expecting Java class. Okay, let me run it again and see what is the issue. Okay, so this has been passed. Actually, if I go back to this one, and what was it initially? So there is no difference here, so let's run it again and verify. So yeah, this test has been successfully passed, and we are getting the expected response here. And now we will test our this method list item on click, and this will create take id as a parameter, and this will also emit the navigate next event. But in this navigate next event, we will have add route with the relevant node id as well. So we need to test this one, so we will write the test case for this one. But let's copy the name of this one and create a, actually this portion of the code would be same, so let's copy this one, paste it in here, and the name would be list item on click, and we are expecting return navigate next event. Yeah, this is a, and we will also paste the name in here, and this will also take some parameters. So for that we will create a variable here named node id, which have the node id which will be passed to this method. So where it is, yeah, node id, and we will pass the dummy nodes dot, let's pass the id of node2 dot id or -1 because it's nullable, or to make it like this, to model dot id, and we will create a variable params, and which will be array of nulls, and the type would be any, and the length of this one would be 1 because we have one parameter here. And in here we will provide the parameters information here like this integer, as we have integer parameter here, so we will provide the integer class info here. And how we can set the parameter, we will set the parameter value like this. At 0th index we have the node id, and when we are invoking this method, we also need to provide the parameters information like this. But in the start we need to provide the static because it's taking multiple objects. So yeah, this is the flow that how we can call, and now we will get the result. So our result actually would be same as the last one, so let's write it again, that events dot first, actually last or null, and we will also cast it to as navigate next, and in the then part we are expecting navigate next event. So truth dot assert result, first of all this would be an instance of this navigate next, and java class dot name should be equals to navigate next class dot java dot name, and the route should be, what should be the route, this would be the route. Let's say make a copy this line from here, paste it in here, and our node id in here, and we are expecting this route. So assert that result dot route should be equals to this route, and yeah, that's it. So this is we want to verify But one thing you may have noticed that this our coroutine is launching on main thread, but as we have already understand and discussed that we cannot run any coroutine on main dispatcher while running unit test or integration test on which will run on the device on the development machine, not on the real or virtual emulator. So for that we need to pass this as a constructor. So here we will pass the main dispatcher here, there. So we and set the main dispatcher. So at this point we are injecting these two variable IO dispatcher and main dispatcher, but the data type is coroutine dispatcher, which is same for these two ones. So and for one we need IO dispatcher and for one we need main dispatcher. In our app module we have wrote a method provide IO dispatcher, and we also create another method by pressing Ctrl D and name it as main dispatcher, and this would be dispatcher dot main. But at this point during the injection, how Dagger Hilt will know that for this variable we need to inject IO dispatcher, which will be coming from this provide IO dispatcher, and the second one would be main dispatcher which would be coming from this method. So at this point Dagger Hilt won't be able to know that this is the expected behavior which we want. So we need to tell that Dagger Hilt that how to differentiate with them. For that Dagger Hilt provide us the option of defining the qualifier. So we can define our qualifiers like this for same data type. So we will create another file named as app qualifier and create it as qualifier and retention. And this would be a annotation class. We will name it as IO dispatcher and create another one by copying and pasting it. This would be main dispatcher, and we will mention that qualifier on these methods IO dispatcher qualifier and main dispatcher qualifier. And in our HomeView model we will mention here the dispatcher qualifier IO dispatcher and main dispatcher. Now in this way Dagger Hilt will know that for this method he will provide the IO dispatcher, and for this variable this will be able to provide the main dispatcher. So yeah, this is it. Now back to our test, and everything is good, and let's run it. Okay, so we have still have some error, and actually we haven't passed the main dispatcher here. So let's use set the main dispatcher with the unconfined test dispatcher and use the scheme scheduler. And now let's run and verify again. Okay, so we still have some crash. So what is the crash here? And the crash is that in our Android util.log not mocked. So the issue is that in our HomeView model, in our method list item on click, we are using the log.d to show logs, but as we are running this integration test in the unit test category, means that it's running on our development machine JVM only. So at the on those in this category we don't have the access to the Android system components. And as you can see here, this Android util.log, this log class belongs to the Android system component category, so we cannot use it. So what I will we have two options. The first one is to replace this log.d with any other logging mechanism, and the second approach is we will replace this log with our with any mock class which are provided with different kind of other libraries, which is Mockito or RoboElectric. So but we won't go for the second option. We will continue with the first option and modify it, because at the scope of this video is only to the writing this integration test and running it in the unit test category. So we will use the println here and move this tag in this string, and yeah, that's it. And now let's run and verify again. Okay, so our these tests also have been successfully passed, and now as you can see here, we have test and verify all of our methods of this HomeViewModel. Now we will run this whole file and we will be able to run all the tests collectively. Okay, so there are 6 tests and all of them have been passed, and the one point which we haven't faced it in by running all the tests simultaneously, but most of the cases you may find some issues if your view model has too many logic, and when all of our tests are running collectively, then it may cause issues, because all of our tests are running concurrently, means they are not running in sequential order. So we need to run all of our tests in sequential order always. So we need to define a rule here. You may we haven't faced that in this view model tests, but it might be possible that when you are seeing this video and want to implement in these integration tests in your current project, then when running all the tests at once can cause issue on your side. So that's why we need to set this rule that this is the instant task executor and instant task executor rule, and yeah, that's it. So now all of our tests will be run in sequential order. So let's run and verify again. Still they will be working fine. Okay, so there are 6 tests and they are successfully run, and now we will run our test. So set to verify all our tests in this source set. So we have 31 tests and all of our tests have been successfully passed. So this is it for this video. I hope this would be a meaningful information for you. So let me know in the comments below if you have any query or question. So thank you for watching. Bye.